Morning guys. First of all, thank you for all the comments and interactions regarding the video I made on Sunday, which showed the selection from the last selection of the fish from the spawning of last year. So glad you enjoyed that. And really now my focus has started to turn to 2020 spawning. Today what I've done first of all is really to show you, I mentioned on the video on Sunday the huge potential sets of parents we've got. I showed you the Goshki and the Kujaku on this video on Sunday, and obviously we had a load of parents still from last year as well, and a lot more than we can possibly do. What I'm doing today, my main task today, what I'm trying to do is take advantage of this warm weather and move what was last year's main parent fish, the Harawaki, Deutz Harawaki, from the outdoor pond, the unheated outdoor pond where she spent the winter, into the indoor pond. At the moment the outdoor pond is running about 12 degrees, the indoor pond is running at 18 degrees. So the plan today, with the air temperature scheduled to get up into the 20s, she's coming out into a show pool in front of, or in the garden, and during the course of the day hopefully that will gradually rise up in temperature towards the 18 degrees of the indoor tank, and then she can safely be moved across into there, where she'll be prepared with the rest of the females, or primarily the Kujaku and the Goshki, with a view to maybe hopefully getting spawned this year. Really depends how things pan out regarding the social distancing, lockdown, whether I can get more tanks set up at my brother's house. The two tanks that I mentioned on Sunday that were coming, they got delivered on Monday by the guys at Manukau, so big thanks to Martin and Colin for dropping those off to me. Just a short journey down the road, about 12 miles, 10 miles I suppose to Manukau. So I say thanks to them for dropping those off. Got a couple of easy pods that I'm preparing to get onto those, and they'll run those through the course of the summer, so as soon as we get those set up the better, and then I can start separating males and females. Anyway, before I start doing all of that, I actually pulled up a whole load more fish from the pond outside. As I say, I mentioned at the weekend that there was a huge range of different options and permutations about parents that I could put together. And say I pulled a load of those fish out from the main pond, and I'm going to show you them now. But yeah, I'll talk about them a little bit. So if you followed last year's spawning, you'll know that the Deutz Harawaki here is the parent that produced pretty much everything that you saw in the video at the weekend. I'm really pleased with how she's developed. She's been with me about 12 months now, and when she was picked up originally, I was pretty sure she was a he. Came from Aoki, Aokia in Japan, and just for the price she was at and the fact that she was available, and the shape of her body, everything about her, you'd have just bet your money on her being a male, which is what I wanted at the time. But obviously she turned out to be a female. But yeah, I mean, she's transformed enormously. Her body is much different now. She was a skinny little thing when I first picked her up. So as well as spawning, she's grown nicely over the course of the summer. So very pleased with her. Of course, this one here is the Marasaka female, which was always intended to be the main parent last year. Ended up being spawned just because we could, as the third spawning last year, but the fry and eggs and fry didn't come to anything really. Really not sure whether she'll feature anywhere at all this year, because I say the Kujaku and the Goshki are my main wants to breed, and then the Harawaki as well if I can. So at the moment she'll just go about her business. I think I'll probably move her inside for now, with the Harawaki at the same time, just in case something happens that I need to use her and she's ready. Now this one here, if you haven't followed on Facebook, this was the fish that last year in the very first spawning at the beginning was very much a Benikiko Kiryu from a Fuchikoi farm. Was the fish that was the male that turned out not to be male, or not to have any sperm. Then very much seemed to be female, and then promptly lost all of her colour. The red disappeared over the matter of a few days, and then she developed a load more sumi. Really, when she turned out not to be a male, I really didn't have any plans for her. She was very much surplus to requirements. However, having lost the coloration that she lost and turned into this just Kiko Kiryu with really, really nice, interesting quality of black, really bright shine to her, and the scalation was really nice. I see sometime in the future this being a fish that will be used. There's a lot of really interesting black and white metallic fish coming out of Japan at the moment, and I just fancy trying something a bit crazy with her. At this stage, not entirely sure what. Many years ago, probably 2008, 2009, when I first met Satoshi Tanaka, he was breeding what he called metallic Hajiro, what most people now call Ginga. Gary at Gatwick Koi has got a bowl full of them coming in, hopefully at the end of this month, and one of them really, I fancy that one of them could be interesting to acquire with a view to putting with this girl at a later stage. But kind of really very much in the future. Certainly not something, unless we get a lot more tanks and have some space at the end of this year, just as a last minute trial of a random bunch of males with her, just to see what comes out. This fish next to her is the male that did all the breeding last year. In terms of Benikiko Kiryu males, it's the only one we've still got. So obviously he'll be used if we do Benikiko Kiryu. This is another fish which came from Aoki. Again, it was a fish which was purchased as a male. Thinking it was a male, I should say. Nobody ever said it was a male. That was just a presumption on my part. And this is another fish that's totally transformed. This looks nothing at all like the fish which was purchased in February, March last year when it came into Koi Water Barn. And it's really kind of surplus to requirements. However, there really is also something very nice about it. The shine on it's nice, and the way the pattern's changed, it really has transformed completely into a different fish. It's nothing like the fish that was purchased, but it's also kind of one too many. There's only so many Benikiko Kiryu females that I need. But we'll keep it in stock for the time being. This was the fish that was the second spawning last year. Again, nothing came of those. I think the environment wasn't right in the paddling pool outside. I think there's too much temperature change in that paddling pool for the fry to really thrive. So with the new tanks that are being set up, very much conscious of stability of water temperature being one of the key requirements to come from that. In terms of other fish that are in here, this really is very beautiful Benikiko Kiryu, and this is bred by Jos Arben at Yoshikigoi in Poland. Still haven't ascertained really whether it's female or male, but I'm thinking it's probably female. I would love it to be a male, because I think it could add a lot to the mix. I haven't checked it for a long while. Last year certainly I concluded it was a female. I will check her before she goes back in the pond. But yeah, a fish that, who knows whether one day it will get used or not, I'm not really sure. If it was a male, then I could quite happily mix that in with the Afuchi Kiko Kiryu, for example, in that mix of a bunch of different fish. Then the other two fish in here are English fish, Ginri Matsukawabake. This one here was the one that I was particularly interested in acquiring when I went to News Forest Koi last year in September. This one's the male, and definite 100% male, the darker of the two. So potentially I'm interested in doing some kind of Kawari Goi mix with this. So this, for example, may go with, I can't see on the screen, may go with the Kiko Kiryu, the Afuchi fish as well, and see what that produces. Really like the black on it. The Ginrin's really nice on it. I love the Madaguro that's got these pectoral fins. All things that attracted it to me, or me to it, when I saw it last September at New Forest Koi when we were down there making a video. And the other one, the other small one, is a female Ginri Matsukawabake. Matsukawabake is a fish that's long interested me. It's interesting to see. Seems to be a lot of interest in this sort of Kawari Goi kind of thing. If you look at the current Dainichi auction, there's a load of fish in there which they're called Black Diamond, or from the Black Diamond parent. That'd be interesting to perhaps to put that male Ginrin Kahaku from Momotaro in with a mix as well, just to see what comes out. And maybe, who knows, Goshki in the future or whatever. But that's some of the fish that I've got here. Fish that are parents that will be used, hopefully this year, maybe used in the future. But buying new parents is a bit of an addiction. It's very addictive. And you see something and suddenly your mind goes down a whole new pathway. So for example, last year I tasked several dealers, including Garrett Gatwick Koi, to find me Goshki. I think it was pretty much the same day that I'd agreed to purchase the female Goshki that I showed you the other day, and suddenly my mind started getting attracted to Kajaku, and then Gary was on a mission to find me Kajaku as well before I'd even put the whole Goshki set together. But yeah, it's interesting, fun. It's nice to have options. What would be nicer is to have a lot of space as well, but unfortunately that's not the case at the moment. But it's a long-term project. It's not something that's happening this year, next year, and then after, hopefully. So anyway, I'll leave you with these. I'll get these back to the pond, get these covered up, apart from the couple that are going to be moved across later today. And I hope you enjoyed just seeing this little glimpse at some of the fish I've got here.